Hello friends and welcome back. My name is Hannah and I want to talk about Euphoria. I watched the Chronically online girl. 2 seconds. I have a candle going on behind and I have a Tamagotchi. Hang on. Maybe I should have checked this before I started filming. Yes, go to sleep. Tamagotchi Paradise. If you guys are playing, let me know. I'm trying to collect them all. I just want to make sure that my hair isn't close enough to that candle. That would be content in and of itself. What was I saying? Oh, I want to talk about Euphoria Season 3. I've been watching the Chronically online girl talk about the episodes as they come out. She probably hasn't filmed because the episode 4 just aired yesterday. I don't think she's had time. So to get a little teaser, to get a little taste, I guess you can watch this video before you watch her well produced and put together where she's analyzing the characters. If I'm being completely honest, I am sitting down in my PJs, hence the curler. I'm gonna put the rest of my hair in my foam curlers, but I figured I would look a little bit presentable before I did that. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm here. I specifically want to talk about Cassie's character. So spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Euphoria, this isn't the video for you. If you have watched Euphoria but you haven't seen any of the new season, this video is not for you. Turn me off. Go watch Chronically Online Girl. She recapped season 1, 2, and then she's been doing the episodes as they've been airing, or just watch Euphoria and then come back. Whatever you want to do. Alright, so if you are watching beyond this point, don't be in my comments saying, Hannah, you spoiled that for me, because I didn't. I gave you a warning. So, there's that. Cassie's character in this season. Okay, there's a lot going on in this episode. I love that they start off the season with Nate being like, no, Cassie, I'm the breadwinner. I'm this, I'm that. And then now he's at a point in life where he's just like, yeah, baby, I'm watching all of your content and like, this is so great. Like, ain't that the truth? Aren't guys just kind of like that? And isn't that kind of annoying? But okay. Do I hate that Sydney Sweeney? Okay, because her character ends up going on like podcasts and things like that, and she does make this comment because they're like, oh, you sound so Democrat, and she goes, I'm not retarded. Her character annoys me so much this season 2 because like I don't think what's her name? Not Sweeney Todd. Sydney Sweeney. I don't think she's the Natalie Portman of her generation, right? Like, how do you... I think Zendaya is probably the star actress of this series. Okay? And then there's a few other ones before we get to Sydney in that list. So I think she's just kind of being herself, if I'm being completely honest. And taking her, like, reputation in the real life. She has a brand with Jeff Bezos. Just bozo behavior. But I mean, I don't expect less, I guess. I don't know. So her character, I have like a personal grief with her. I don't hate Sydney Sweeney. Like, I also thought it was weird when people would gang up on like Megan Fox, right? I don't have a personal beef with her like that. It's just she's just not for me, you know, and that's fine. If she's for you, then she's for you. She's not for me, so you get more. You know what I mean? But her story of E-Girl is very interesting because I have a very similar, like, it's hard for me to watch Cassie's character and, like, not see myself. And it's, like, even more annoying because she does bleach her hair. To which I have bleached my hair. If you've been on my channel for a while. I've had multiple different hairstyles over the years, and I've settled on Jimin blonde. I said I will be blonde as long as Jimin's blonde, and now Tae is also blonde. If you're not a BTS ARMY, you wouldn't understand. That's neither here nor there. I don't want to say I am an e-girl. I did do e-girl content for a long time. So while I started my YouTube channel, I was doing e-girl content. And I know Barbie Fierra's, is that her name? I know her name is Barbie. I think it's Fiera. Fiera, Guy Fieri, I don't know. Barbie. I know in season 1, she was an e-girl where she was online in the chat rooms and they're showing that. I was doing that. I have a cat hair. I was doing that, and I was also doing what Cassie's doing with like an OnlyFans and like taking these photos and doing custom content and kind of Maddy's strategy of like, you know, you tease them and then you start doing more hardcore stuff. That was exactly my pipeline. So Maddy and Cassie's characters this season in that realm really speak to me, really, you know, and with Cassie, or excuse me, with Maddy right now also being more or less a secretary. They call her reception, but she's a secretary. I mean, that's just what she's doing. Also speaks to me because that's currently what my day job is. And I understand both girls' frustrations, but I think Cassie's rise in this OnlyFans e-girl storyline, I mean, yeah, she's beautiful and she does stand out, and I think it's to show that like Cassie is like a good, or Maddy is a good manager and, you know, has an eye for talent and like training talent and managing talent. But man, they show her like sending off the underwear and like all of that, and then there's like not stalkers and they're not using like fake addresses, and you know, but maybe they are. I don't know, right? There is a spot, or there is a scene in the series or in the episode where Cassie is like growing large. It's kind of like an Alice in Wonderland kind of thing, and she's like walking through Hollywood like Godzilla, and then she's like looking into one of the buildings to one of her like top clients, you know, and like sees him like looking at her content, you know, and it's to show that she is like growing large in her content creation. There is a little bit of like a hype house situation, and the way she was going to be like, Maddy, this isn't personal, but I'm going to leave you for the hype house. I'm going to, you know, even though you've helped me get here and you've, you know, gotten me really far, I'm going to do what I always do, and I'm just going to be some little boy's pet. And I'm really glad that Maddy kind of like pulled the rug on her and like did this fake call of, you know, hey, so this audition for Cassie, like, let's cancel it because, like, it's just not going to happen. I'm, like, not, you know, and then Cassie's, like, panicking because all she wants is fame. And, I mean, it just shows truly who Cassie's character is. She only sees herself, and she's only invested in herself, and she actually doesn't care about other people, because she never really cared about Nate either, because, you know, but in her defense, if I also married someone like that, I mean, would I be shocked and surprised? I shouldn't be. The writing was kind of on the walls, but if I married someone like Nate Jacobs, and he tried to keep me as his little pet, and got between me and my best, well, she got herself in between her own friendship with Maddy. That whole thing is just like a mess. And then you're going to marry like your high school boyfriend or your best friend's high school boyfriend. I know, all of that's just so messy. I would divorce him too. I don't know. But then she's still wiring him money. And can I say, Nate Jacobs out here, and he gets that direct deposit, you know, from Cassie because she wired him money, or probably Zelled him money. Let's be for real. She didn't wire it to him. And then when that gangster comes in, and then he chops off the wedding finger, and he, like, because he got a toe chopped off in a previous episode. Okay, that thing was stitched up, and anyway, and he yanks it. And, like, I can't remember the last time I, like, my toes were curled. Like, I was, like, you know, hiding behind the couch cushion like this, like, ugh! You know? Like, I don't want to say I watch a lot of gory stuff, but, I mean, House of a Thousand Corpses is a DVD that I own and I watch pretty regularly. At least twice a year, you know? And sometimes when I want to celebrate a holiday in July, I'll pull it out then too. So, but man, and I was thinking too, like, man, what did Nate Jacobs like? But he has no money, so of course he wouldn't go and buy a gun, because with what money does he have? And, like, he probably knows better than to shoot, like, anyway. Rue and Maddy are hanging out, and Alamo comes in because Alamo's just like, Rue, you're up to some shit. You're shady. And Maddy's now involved, and she's working with Alamo, and they agreed to 15% talent because she's basically going to manage 2 of his girls and make them these OF model things. And this is great for Maddy because then this is really her showing that she can, you know, manage talent and, like, break off and do her own thing. But also at the same time, dude, Alamo has just shown, and, like, the whole episode, you just, like, the slow burn of Alamo being this, like, because even Lori was just like, oh, Rue, that doesn't make me feel good that you want to go and hang out with Alamo. I can't really do her voice, but, like, man, he is psychotic. He is actually scary. And, like, Maddy just reminds me of my best friend. And I hate that Cassie reminds me of me. Because I would never do that to my best friend. I just have to put that disclaimer out there. Like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? Best friends over men always. Like, men, you know what I mean? But Maddy reminds me of my best friend, and I think I would be really sad to see her go down that path. I want my friend to get her back. I want her to have success. I want her to live a beautiful life in a home where she doesn't have to have roommates, you know. But to work with Alamo, are you kidding me? I do like Alamo's, what's his name, Bishop? Is that his name? I do like him. I like that he tells Rue this episode too. Something about you just gives me the heebie-jeebies, and I don't know what that is. Like, don't take it personal. I don't know. But something about you just don't sit right with me. And I don't know. Maybe that's like the star science, you know, the astrology, the tarot card reading in me. I don't know. But it's just like, man, I guess you did kind of clock that because, like, yeah. It is interesting, even when Cassie is walking around as Godzilla, there is a lot of, like, God saves, and I'm noticing that in a lot of the, like, promo, like, the posters and imagery for this new season. I don't know, I really don't know what they could do beyond this season, like, unless they make it about Maddy and Cassie, but would I even want to watch that? If I'm being completely honest, like, I love Maddy's character. I don't know if I'd want to watch a spin-off of Maddy's character. I love the actress who plays Maddy. I think she's wonderful. I would love to see her in maybe similar roles. But, I mean, how much more of Maddy and Cassie can they really tell? I don't need to watch a TV show about an OnlyFans model popping off into celebrity when I have YouTube.com. I have my own personal life. I say that as if I popped off online. Lexi's character, okay, because Lexi, she's Cassie's sister. She gets so mad because Maddy does end up getting her an audition through Lexi. Lexi gets her sister's name on the list for the audition. And Cassie comes in and does Shakespeare. And apparently people aren't doing Shakespeare. And I don't know if that's like a joke in the Hollywood world. I have never gone to a casting, directing, or a casting audition before. I don't know if I have it in me to hear someone say no. You know, like I don't know if I have it in me to be judged like that. I'd probably cry. Cry out of frustration because maybe I'm just violent. I don't know, but I'd be like, who are you? But they're the talent management, so that's who they are. Anyway, so she does this Shakespeare reading and they love it, and so she gets this minor. The way that we leave the episode is that she does land this minor role on this TV show that her sister works on. Lexi works the corporate side of Hollywood, so while Maddy does kind of technically have a corporate job, she is trying to side hustle and do management and be, where they're making money. Rue is, this drug dealer, arms dealer, like whatever. Jules, we'll talk about Jules after this. Jules is making money as well, or like living a life of wealth. And it seems like everybody's living this wealthy life while Lexi's like, making money the like hard way. Very similar to the common man, very similar to you and I. Right now, we stay up late, to live our lives, and then we go into work in the morning, and we're 8-hour slaves or more, to some job that barely pays us enough to make ends meet. And so Lexi gets pissed off because she's just like, how dare you, you have one audition and you use my name and like you got the role and like whatever, and her sister has success. And in a previous episode she kind of pops off on Rue and Maddy and Cassie of like, well, here you are taking, pornography photos, and you're the one taking the photos, Maddy, and then Rue, you're out here looking for drugs. Like, what's wrong with you people? Like, you guys are crazy. This is after Lexi had asked Jules to do a painting, and Jules, being an artist and being trans, she does a thing where there's penises, but I'm also like, Jules, it's a TV show. Like, we all know that censorship, like, we all know, and especially if Jules is a trans girl in this show and in real life, but especially in this show, you're telling me that she doesn't know that there are people who are against trans identities, like in trans culture and just anything in that bubble. And she just thought that was gonna fly, that was just gonna be okay. Like, it was a beautiful painting, beautiful. If you were opening up your own art gallery and doing that, but it's for a TV show. It's something like Seinfeld or like The Office or Modern Family. Like, it's a sitcom family TV show. And so Lexi just gets mad, and the whole time I'm just thinking, like, girl, like, you're the one working in corporate Hollywood, and like, of course your boss is going to be upset with you that, like, because she did that painting and it was going to back up time. And I mean, why are you mad that they took your sister? And like, use that to your advantage, use that as like, no, like, I just believe that my sister has a talent about her, and she always kind of talked about that. Or, Lexi, you can live in the shadow of your sister. And I think that's really what they're trying to establish with the sister roles, because that was kind of always the issue with Lexi and Cassie. Which is like, damn. I mean, the sisters are just like that. Jules. Jules is a sugar baby. Jules is living my dream. Like, okay, if I were to have anyone's, like, plot line, I would want to have Maddy's, but that's also because I know that I'm like the corporate baddie that I am, but I hate that kind of work. I just want to be a muse. I would love to be a sugar baby. I would love that so much. What do you mean? I get to live my night city dreams. I get to be Evelyn Parker. I think I could do that. I think I could. And see, I think this is how me and Cassie are similar, unfortunately. I think I could be Jules' character. I think I could do that. She ends up, like, locking down with one specific sugar daddy who's, like, a plastic surgeon. He does explain to Jules, like, I have a family, but I have needs and I have wants, and my wife understands, and as long as I come home to my family and I am the husband and father that I need to be for them, I'm okay to have my little playtime. And he has Jules. If you guys have ever played Cyberpunk, you know, like when you're in Arasaka Tower and you're in Yorinobu's apartment, it looks something like that. It's just like beautiful view of the city, and it's just like, you know, gorgeous apartment. Rue had been stopping over at Jules' house or apartment, you know, and Jules and Rue kind of have this sexual tension going back and forth. Rue leaves boxers, and so like the cliffhanger that they leave Jules on in this episode is, you know, her sugar daddy was there, you know, they were hooking up. He goes to go like take a shower, and he sees Rue's boxers, you know, on the floor. He freaks out because he's like, you're not allowed to bring like boys over, you're not fucking boys, you know, in this house, da da da. And, you know, to which Jules is just like, oh no, that's my girlfriend's, like, I'm really not like fucking dudes, like, I'm really not. And he goes, I like you, but I love my family and I'm not gonna get STDs. And kind of like throws the shorts in her face. And this is like the first time that because he treats Jules as like a muse, as like, you know, this delicate piece of art. And now this is like the first time you kind of see him kind of flip that script on her and kind of be like, no, actually, no, like, you're not using me, like, that's not happening. So I don't know, it's kind of, Jules had kind of abandoned her art school. She like dropped out to like be the sugar baby full time. Well, has she been saving money? I don't know, you know, like, has she been like looking out for herself? I don't know. If anything, all I've learned from these girls is that they're not responsible with money. The only one that's responsible with money, or seems to be responsible with money, is Maddy. She's trying to help her parents, you know, or her mom's business. And so maybe she's just like sending a lot of money that way and not saving any for herself. She's still living in, you know, that basement apartment. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to Jules. I want it to work out, you know. I mean, look, when you're doing sex work like that, like, if you're doing any kind of sex work, it's scary because, right, like, it's, you know, I don't want to say that you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, but really, realistically, the government doesn't want you doing sex work. You know, how do you pay taxes on that? The safety of that, whether it be an STD, stalking, murder, you know, kidnap, trafficking. You are vulnerable to a lot of the evils of the world. And I mean, right, we all just, you know, I think we all agree with Cassie, you know, none of us want to be poor. None of us want to live in poverty. We all want to have a nice, beautiful life. And for some, that's like big McMansions, while others is just, hey man, if I just have a place to call my own and put my head down and I feel safe, like I'm cool. I don't know, but this season is a lot of like these young ladies. I mean, this season is very grown up. I watched seasons 1 and 2. Obviously, they're in high school, and you know they're trying to do the Skins thing where they're these young, beautiful teenagers living this like extra fabulous life. And I mean, I guess high school can be that way. I mean, I partied in high school. I had my Skins-esque moment. And it's a beautiful time. Like, that is, you know, your youth. But then you grow up, and then you got bills that you have to pay, and then you have to, like, pave your way in life. And then you realize that every choice that you make kind of shapes your future, you know, whether that be letting, you know, settling for a mediocre man, you know, a toxic, abusive man, whether that be getting stuck in a rut and, you know, your demon's always on your shoulders and it's always leading you to sketchy life situations, or you're just trying to claw your way to the top and trying to figure out where you play in that, and like, are you gonna be the prostitute or are you gonna be the pimp? Or do you just try to fall in line, and then you clock into your 9 to 5 and you sell your soul, to achieve some kind of career goals? I don't know. I think that's a beautiful way to kind of talk about like where we all are in life right now. I love this season because it seems very much to be a love letter to Los Angeles. Los Angeles has as a big city, there's many different ways to make money, and Alamo talks about, like, all that matters in life is power, and how you get power is money, and how you get money, it's Scarface, right? I guess that's more Florida, but that's neither here nor there. But these characters and where they're filming, and like their archetypes and the kind of scenarios and situations that they're in, very much LA. Where Rue's, like, she works at a strip club. Like, she's not a stripper. She's, like, boss, security, whatever. That's filmed 20 minutes from my house. I know that area. I mean, I don't think that building was a strip club. It maybe was in the past. But it is the deserts right out. It is, like, technically, like, the Badlands. And I appreciate the season, and I know I tie everything to Cyberpunk. I know that I do. But I mean, Cyberpunk Night City is a love letter to Los Angeles and all the major cities. I think specifically more Los Angeles. I think there's a lot more of those themes there. As someone from the Bay Area, that's not to say that there isn't, that the San Francisco Bay Area isn't similar to that. I just think because there's Hollywood, it's a little bit different. I think in the tech realm, it's not the glitz and glamour that Hollywood is. But let me know in the comments down below. Are you watching Euphoria? Are you watching Chronically Online? Girl, talk about Euphoria. And if I didn't just sit down and film this video, I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to post it as is. I'm trying to get into the habit of posting videos. I don't know why I'm so self-conscious about myself on the internet. No one even said anything mean to me about it, I don't know. I fell out of habit, and maybe it's guilt. Maybe I just feel guilty, and maybe I'm just, maybe that's what I'm feeling, and maybe I need to hear like, hey, it was okay that you were gone. Just come back. But let me know in the comments down below, and I'm really liking the season of Euphoria. I mean, everybody was like, oh, this is like last week's episode 3 or whatever, like last week's episode, oh, it's finally a good season of Euphoria. For that episode to be good, all the stuff leading up to it had to be good, had to be told. Like, that's how storytelling works. I don't know. I'm not like a diehard Euphoria fan. I'm not like, oh, this is the best television show ever made. It's not bad. I mean, if you're going to talk about... I think what I like about it is that it's very similar to Breaking Bad in that, like, there's these little situational ironies that is very Shakespearean in a way. And I like that. That's what I enjoy. But again, if you're watching Euphoria, let me know in the comments down below. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts? I would love to chit chat with you guys and hear all about it. I'm going to tag Chronically Online because I mentioned her so much, and this is kind of like her video. I'm going to tag her, watch her. She's fun. I love her. She doesn't need little old me telling me to tell you guys to go and do that, but here I am, right? Put respect on the name. Okay, I'm going to click end and I'm going to end this video. Bye, guys.